So I decided to start with the country's laws I know the best, Canada. Now, let's do a quick breakdown on how much it costs to get a firearm legally in Canada. So, firstly, while there are some legal things you can get without a firearm license in Canada, those are incredibly limited. Crossbows are arguably one of the best things you can get, but for the sake of this video, let's say you want actual modern firearms that aren't flintlock long guns. Alright, so you're going to need to get yourself a PAL or RPAL, which is Canada's firearm licenses. Now, how do you get yourself a PAL? Well, that's a good question. If you have never had a PAL or RPAL before, you gotta do a safety course called the CFSC or CRFCS. To make things simpler, let's say you just want a regular PAL, so you just do the CFSC, which stands for Canadian Firearms Safety Course for context. Well, be prepared to spend over $200 Canadian for the course, probably more, which will be 8 hours of your time in which you will, at the end, be required to do both a written and practical exam. You need to get 80% on both of these, mind you. Now, after that, let's say you pass, though. Well, congratulations. You now have to wait for that paperwork to get verified and given back to you that you successfully passed your course and nothing funny was happening in said course. Anyways, in the meantime, you now have to fill out a 5-page application, which as of writing this video, you're going to be paying a fee of $67.38 Canadian for this license. You also have to get yourself 2 reference signatures of people who have known you for at least 3 years. They can't be your spouse if you have one, and they can't be your family. So let's hope you have 2 close friends who have nice things to say about your character. Anyways, you also need to get a photo that the best way to describe it is like a passport style photo, except the dimensions are a little wonky. Anyways, let's say you're able to get all of that and send the paperwork away. Well, after waiting a few months, congratulations, you got a letter in the mail with your firearm license or PAL in it. So from there, you can go out and buy yourself a firearm. However, chances are you're going to need a car to transport said firearm in. Why? Because due to most public transit policies, you're not going to be allowed to have a firearm in a bus. So essentially, if you don't get a car or someone who can drive you around, then you're essentially stuck to ordering a firearm online to your doorstep. Which, yes, that is a legal option in Canada. Now, I think that's enough information to rank Canada's firearm laws on a classism ranking. The monetary costs in total in Canada come to about $267.38 as of 2024. When I'm writing this, and that's before you even buy a gun, which don't get me started on that. 2, the logistics issues are actually not so terrible because I forgot to mention that storage in Canada is at least pretty reasonable for non-restricted firearms. You could have a rifle, for instance, or a shotgun under your bed with a trigger lock on it in a gun case, and that would be considered legal storage as long as it's unloaded and the ammo is separate from it. In terms of time, like the time issues, 8 hours is essentially a full-time day for people. While not impossible, it does significantly impact somebody's day and could cause a lot of scheduling issues for somebody who has to work a lot to support themselves. Anyways, because Canada is the only one on this list so far, it is by default the number 1 position. I think for the next episode, I'm going to do the United Kingdom's gun laws because from my understanding of them, they are significantly more classist than Canada's. Thank you.